Once upon a time, in a world that never sleeps, there was a man who had everything, or so it seemed. His name was Ethan, and to the outside world, he was successful. A high-paying job, a beautiful home, a life that others envied. But beneath the surface, there was a storm raging inside him. Every morning, he woke up feeling like a stranger in his own life. The pressure to perform, to maintain his image, to keep winning it was suffocating. And then, one day, it all came crashing down. It started with a phone call. A mistake at work that wasn't even his fault had cost the company millions. In a single instant, the empire he had built for himself collapsed. Fired, disgraced, cast aside like he was nothing. Then, as if the universe wanted to break him completely, his wife walked out. "I can't do this anymore," she said, her voice void of emotion. And just like that, everything he had built was gone. Ethan sat alone in the darkness of his once luxurious apartment, now nothing more than a hollow space filled with memories. He stopped eating, stopped sleeping. The weight of failure pressed down on him like an anchor, dragging him deeper into despair. And then one night, as he stood on the edge of his balcony, staring into the abyss below, he asked himself the one question that changes everything. Is this it? Is this how my story ends? But in the silence, something inside him whispered, asterisk, asterisk number. This is where your story begins. Asterisk, asterisk. He stepped back from the edge, took a deep breath, and for the first time in his life, he realized that everything he had lost wasn't a punishment. It was a test to see if he would break or rise. The next morning, he made a choice. He walked out of his apartment, not as the broken man he had been the night before, but as someone who had nothing left to lose, and that made him dangerous. He found an old gym, one that smelled of sweat and struggle, and he started training. His muscles screamed, his lungs burned, but he didn't stop. Because every drop of sweat, every aching muscle, was proof that he was still alive, that he still had fight left in him. He read books on resilience, on discipline, on the mindset of warriors. He learned that greatness isn't built in moments of comfort, but in the fire of adversity. And day by day, he transformed. Not just physically, but mentally. The man who once defined himself by his job title, by his wealth, by the opinions of others, she was gone. In his place stood a man forged in pain, a man who had walked through fire and emerged stronger. Months passed, and Ethan didn't just rebuild his life. He built a new one that no longer depended on the validation of others. He started a business, one that thrived not because of luck, but because he had learned the art of perseverance. He became the kind of man people looked up to, the kind who had faced the abyss and chosen to fight. One day, he walked past the same office building where he had been fired. He stopped for a moment, staring at the place that had once shattered him. But he didn't feel anger. He didn't feel regret. He felt gratitude, because without losing everything, he would have never found himself. Life will break you. It will test you. It will strip you of everything you thought mattered. But in that moment, you have a choice: to stay down or to rise, to let the pain define you, or to let it build you. Ethan made his choice. Now, it's time for you to make yours. Because in the end, it's not about how many times you fall, it's about how many times you rise.